I want to welcome everyone to this week's Torah portion. This week's Torah is for everyone. It's called Pinchas, and he was given the Brit Shalom, the covenant of peace, of Shalom, which is greater than peace, and there's a lot in it. So let me, without further ado, share the screen, and we find it here. Miriam, would you like to read tonight?
Okay.
Would you like to read?
Yeah, here I am.
Okay, go ahead.
God spoke to Moses, saying, Pinchas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the Israelites by displaying among them his passion for me, so that I did not wipe out the Israelite people in my passion. Say, therefore, I grant him my pact of friendship.
It's bigger than that. It says,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Briti Shalom, my pact of
Yeah,
peace.
that's a
Shalom.
bad translation.
Yeah, it's like wholeness, the refuah shalema. So when I read this, I thought, wow, one righteous person can turn back God's wrath from our people. One righteous person.
Right.
And we know that God is a God of love, but he doesn't go against his nature. And if we, his people, are disobedient to his principles, we reap the consequences. You know, we have forgotten that today. And the reason that he does this is because he called us as a people to represent him before all the nations of the world. And his name, his reputation is at stake when we disobey, when we go against what he says. That's why reading these things are so important, so we understand what he wants. And wouldn't we all want to be granted a Brit Shalom, a pact of Shalom, of peace? Can you imagine living our life with that kind of peace? Okay.
That's why we shouldn't be discouraged. Look, it's not numbers that makes powerful. That's
Exactly.
really saying how important each individual is before God, even in our families or in our community. It could be one person who makes a change. And also, I think God's making a statement about how we're each accountable before God. So many people hide in the, we all do it to a certain extent to our detriment. But I mean, in school, whatever, we hide ourselves we submerge ourselves into the popular identity, whatever that is. It
Right.
shows you that every individual is important and accountable before God.
Exactly. Beautiful, Miriam. Yes.
So it
Continue.
shall be for him and his descendants after him a pact of priesthood for all time, because he took impassioned action for his God, thus making expiation for the Israelites.
Okay,
But okay, I guess making expiation is not
well, here the word would be kaper, a cover.
covering.
I got you covered. I love that expression.
Yeah,
And when I read that, I said, I wonder who his descendants are. It says his descendants for all time. A pact, a priesthood, which is a Brit, here, Brit Kahunat, the priesthood, the link between a covenant. Not only was he given a covenant of peace, but a covenant of the priesthood for all time. And I wonder how long all time means here, because today we don't know who his descendants are. We know that after, if he's given a covenant of the priesthood, we know at the time of the Maccabees, when the Hasmoneans took over, at that time, no longer was the priesthood descended from Aaron as a familial descendants. It was purchased. By the time Yeshua was living in Rome, the temple had been so desecrated by the priesthood that had been bought by the highest bidder, it became like a political body and very corrupt. So, to me, the literal descendants, the literal physical descendants, there would not be literal physical descendants, but they would be spiritual ones, those who are as impassioned for God. We don't have to go out and literally do what Pinchas did, where he killed. We're going to read that next, where he killed someone for his zeal. But for us today, we have to ask ourselves, what does that kind of action look like for us? Yes, Richard. Richard, I can't hear you.
Did I hear you say that Yeshua lived in Rome?
He lived at the time of the Romans. When the Romans took over Judea, they named it.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Play the tape back after this. I think I heard you say that Yeshua lived in Rome.
Well, thank you for, if I said that, I didn't mean that. I thought I would have said it was at the time of the Romans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm listening.
Okay.
Pinchas was a Levite, no?
Yeah, he was the son of Eliezer, the son of Aaron.
Right.
He was
right.
yeah. Okay.
The name of the Israelite man who was killed, the one who was killed with the Midianite woman, was Zimri, son of Salu, chieftain of a Simeonite ancestral house.
Okay, let me interject here. So the man, remember, Moses was told to string up, to hang, to kill all those who were, what was it? Oh my goodness. I forgot. My brain just left me. Do you remember last week what it said that he was told to get rid of all those leaders who were going against God's word by, remember, let me calm down here because we have to go back to where we were before. Balak wanted Bilam to curse the people. He couldn't do it. But what he did was to convince the Midianite women to seduce the Israelite men so that they would turn and worship the false gods and go with these Midianite women. Okay, so Moses was told, kill these leaders. And he didn't do it. He didn't see it followed through. So here was one of the leaders. He says Zimri was a son of Salu, who was a chieftain of the tribe of Simeon. So who was Simeon? Remember? He was the first son. Go ahead.
Weren't they the ones with Dinah?
Yes, he was Jacob's second son, who together with the younger brother Levi, the third son of Jacob, he went after the men of Shechem. He responded to the violation of his sister Dinah and massacred all the men of Shechem. He was rash, he was vengeful, and his descendant Zimri was killed. His descendant Zimri was killed by Pinchas. So we see Zimri also, his act, he took this Midianite woman and paraded himself in front of everybody in a rebellious attitude, another rash act to parade in front of everybody with Cosby, the Midianite princess. That's what caused Pinchas to react. There are consequences for our behavior. Even if we're born into a family with a terrible past, like Simeon, because of what he did, there's always a way to change. And the Torah gives us the formula. If we don't, there's an expression, midat keneged midat, measure for measure. So eventually we all reap what we sow. And we see that here. The same with Cosby here. The name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosby. daughter of Tsur. He was the tribal head of an ancestral house in Midian. The Midianites had lured these men in, and here she was a princess of that tribe. So you see that uh, the, the people were these people lured the Israelites men to sin with their women and their gods. So it's not only a person or a family that has to face its behavior and change it. We have to look at that as an entire Kahal Israel. Because look what happens next. Go ahead.
God spoke to Moses, saying, Assail the Midianites and defeat them,
Attack the Midianites, attack them, go after them, defeat them.
for they assailed you by the trickery they practiced against you, because of the affair of Peor, and because of the affair of their kinswoman, Cosbi, daughter of the Midianite chieftain, who was killed at the time of the plague on account of Peor.
So we may think, oh, that's just for that time. But the same type of things are happening today. But we're interpreting it according to biblical times, but we have to take the principles and apply them to this time. There's a lot of people, a lot of our men who are going after women who are following false gods. And there's a consequence for that, whether we want to hear it or not. Okay, go ahead.
When the plague was over, God said to Moses and to Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, take a census of the whole Israelite company of fighters from the age of 20 years up by their ancestral houses, all Israelite males able to bear arms.
So the very first, we're almost at the end of Bamidbar, which was 48 years after the beginning of Bamidbar. And the first census, or was it a month? Did it take place in a month? Oh my goodness. Suddenly I remembered, I think the whole book of Bamidbar took place in 1 month. But the first census that was taken had to do with, I think it was when God was telling Moses, take a census so that all the young men of 20 years old and up, they were building an army because they were going to have to fight. Here, the census has to do more with that they would be allotted land. They are also fighters, but the leaders of each of the tribes would be allotted land in the promised land. Okay.
So Moses and Eleazar the priest on the steps of Moab at the Jordan near Jericho gave instructions about them, namely, those from 20 years up, as God had commanded Moses. The descendants of the Israelites who came out of the land of Egypt were Reuben, Israel's firstborn, descendants of Reuben, of Enoch, the clan of the Enochites, of Palu, the clan of the Paluites, of Hezron, the clan of the Hezronites, of Carmi, the clan of the Carmites. Those are the clans of the Reubenites. The men enrolled came to 43,730.
What I did was I went to the beginning where it talked about the first census and here compared the amounts with what we have now, because this would have been after their, all their time in the desert. The first census was taken at the beginning when they would bear arms. Now the census here it says the Reubenites were 43,730, but in chapter 1 at the beginning it was 46,500. So this was when a whole bunch of people died in the desert during the next 38 years. Remember, they wouldn't be allowed to enter the promised land because of the sin of the spies. So we're going to see a difference in the amounts of the people. So, but not a huge difference. In some cases, it was a large difference, but in some it's not. I only did the first ones. So Reuben, the first tribe, was at the beginning 46,500. Now it's 43,730. And we're going to read some of the others now.
It said born, could you go up a little bit? Did I mention that? Born to Palu. Okay. Eliav. Okay. The sons of Eliav were Nemuel and Datan and Abiram. These are the same Datan and Abiram chosen in the assembly who were agitated against Moses and Aaron as part of Korach's band when they are agitated against God. Whereupon the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with Korach. When the band died, when the fire consumed the 250 men, and they became an example. The sons of Korach, however, did not die. Descendants of Shimeon by their clans, of Nemuel, the clan of the Nemuelites, of Yamin, the clan of the Jaminites, of Yakin, the clan of the Yakinites, sorry, not pronounced, of Zerah, the clan of the Zerahites, of Saul, the clan of the Saulites. Those are the clans of the Simeonites, 22,200.
And at the beginning, they lost a lot because at the beginning there were 59,300, and here there were 22,200. So Simeon, his rash behavior, his anger, his temper caused a lot of his own people to die.
Descendants of Gad by their clans, of Zephon, the clan of the Zephonites, of Haggai, the clan of the Haggites, of Shuni, the clan of the Shunites, of Ozni, the clan of the Oznites, of Eri, the clan of the Erites, of Arod, the clan of the Arodites, of Areli, the clan of Erelites. Those are the clans of God's descendants, men and
Gad's descendants.
Sorry. Those are the clans of Gad's descendants, men enrolled, 40,500.
And at the beginning, they were 45,650. So they lost about 5,000 people.
Born to Judah. Huh?
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Time in the desert, yeah.
You think they'd multiply more.
Exactly. We're going to get to the end and you're going to see.
Born to Judah, Er and Onan. Er and Onan died in the land of Canaan. Descendants of Judah by their clans. Of Shelah, the clan of the Shelonites. Of Perez, the clan of the Perizzites. Of Zerah, the clan of the Zerahites. Descendants of Perez. Of Hezron, the clan of the Hezronites. Of Hamul, the clan of the Hamulites. Those are the clans of Judah, men enrolled 76,500.
And at the beginning, there were 74,500. So they lost only 2,000. They were the...
No, they gained 2,000.
No.
You just said they were at...
Yeah. They gained 2,000. You're right. Sorry.
That's okay.
Now 76,500. And the start, they're the only ones who gained. The clan of Judah, which is interesting.
Descendants of Issachar by their clan, of Tola, the clan of the Tolites, of Puva, the clan of the Punites, of Yashuv, the clan of Yashubites, of Shimron, the clan of Shimronites. Those are the clans of Issachar, men enrolled 64,300.
And they lost 10,000. They were 54,400. That's the last one I wrote.
Wait, you said they were 54, so they gained 10,000.
No, now they're 64, but at the start, yeah, boy.
No, because you're used to them losing. So
yeah,
now
yeah, exactly.
The trend has changed.
The trend has changed. Now they're gaining. They were started at 54,000. Now they're 64,000. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Descendants of Zebulun by their clans, of Sered, the clan of the Seredites, of Elon, the clan of the Elonites, of Jalil, the clan of the Jalites. Those are the clans of the Zebulonites. Men enrolled 60,500. The sons of Joseph were Manasseh and Ephraim by their clans. Descendants of Manasseh, of Machir, the clan of the Machirites. Machir begot Gilead. Of Gilead, the clan of the Gileadites. These were the descendants of Gilad. Of Jezer, the clan of the Jezerites. Of Helek, the clan of the Helekites. Of Azriel, the clan of the Azrielites. Of Shechem, the clan of the Shechemites. Of Shemida, the clan of the Shemedites. Of Hefer, the clan of the Heferites. Now, Zelophehad, son of Hefer, had no sons, only daughters. The names of Zelophehad's daughters were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. Those are the clans of Manasseh. Men enrolled 52,700. These are the descendants of Ephraim by their clans. Of Shutheleh, the clan of the Shuthelahites. Of Becher, the clan of the Becherites. Of Tahan, the clan of the Tahanites. These are the descendants of Shuthelah. Of Iran, the clan of the Eranites. Those are the clans of Ephraim's descendants. Men enrolled 32,500. Those are the descendants of Joseph by their clans. The descendants of Benjamin by their clans. Of Bela, the clan of Belites. Of Ashbel, the clan of Ashbelites. Of Ahiram, the clan of the Ahiramites. Of Shephulham, the clan of the Shephamites.
It's much easier in the Hebrew. It's harder when you translate it.
Yeah, it's.
You want me to read some?
Where's the word? I'm just curious. There it is. Shulhamites.
Shepachat.
Shulhamites.
Yeah.
Shulhamites. Of Hupham, the clan of the Huphamites. I may as well just finish and then
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. The sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman. Of Ard, the clan of the Ardites. Of Naaman, the clan of the Naamanites. Those are the descendants of Benjamin by their clans. Men enrolled 45,600. These are the descendants of Dan by their clans. Of Shuham, the clan of the Shulamites. Those are the clans of Dan by their clans. All the clans of Shuhamites, men enrolled 64,400. Descendants of Asher by their clans. Of Imnah, the clan of the Imnites. Of Ishvi, the clan of the Ishvites. Of Beriah, the clan of the Berites. Of the descendants of Beriah, of Heber, the clan of the Heberites. Of Malchiel, the clan of the Malchielites. The name of Asher's daughter was Serah. I wonder, that's interesting. She must have been really important.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, sir. I wonder why they mentioned her.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to look that up.
Well, I don't know if they say. Anyway,
Maybe.
maybe it's like you, Peggy, when they would say, and the descendants of whatever, Peggy. Okay.
Exactly.
These are the clans of Asher's descendants. Men enrolled 53,400. Descendants of Naphtali by their clans. Of Jazeel, the clan of the Jazeelites. Of Guni, the clan of the Gunites. Of Jezer, the clan of the Jezerites. Of Shilem, the clan of the Shilemites. Those are the clans of the Naphtalites. Clan by clan, men enrolled, 45,400. This is the enrollment of Israelite men, 601,730.
And at the beginning, they started with 603,550 men.
Not that
So-
much different.
No, and that I thought was interesting because they're throughout the desert 40 years, the plagues hit, and the promise that all that generation except for Joshua and Caleb would die in the desert. So to me, it was interesting because I was thinking of the number of Jewish people today. So I looked it up and it said there were almost 15.7 million Jewish people in the world, which is not that different than there were before the Holocaust, which is 16.6 million. And during the Holocaust, 6 million people died, 6 million Jews died. So you see, we've lost the understanding that each of us have a responsibility and that the behavior of one can affect the whole. It seems to be the same scenario if you look at what happened here during the Holocaust, and the numbers are almost the same as here, where the numbers are almost the same. The same scenarios are wandering in the desert. So these pictures seem to relate to cycles that repeat themselves throughout our history, where the principles remain the same. So why aren't we asking ourselves, what are we doing? What are we not doing? So that God will keep his word to bless and multiply us as the sands of the sea. And then I thought of that. Now, is it possible that we really are now like the sands of the sea? Because in every part of the world, we'll find people who have descended or say they've descended from the ancient Israelites, whether they admit to having Jewish roots or not. And maybe they don't even know anymore because their parents chose to leave the fact that they were Jews behind so that they wouldn't be persecuted. So it's like wherever you go, oh, there's a Jew here living in amongst all these Gentiles, or they're Gentiles living as Gentiles, but they may have been Jews before their ancestors, but because they don't want to admit it that they're Jews, so they wouldn't be persecuted. So it may be that we are like the sand of the sea, and that what we understand to be the amounts are not truly the amounts. I hope I made a little bit of sense in all that.
Yeah, no, that could be very well be true.
Okay.
God spoke to Moses, saying, among these shall the land be apportioned as shares, according to the listed names. With larger groups, increase the share. With smaller groups, reduce the share. Each is to be assigned its share according to its enrollment.
So here, to me, this is showing me that the Torah proves that these lands are apportioned out to the Israelites by tribe, depending on their side. God gave us this land. That's why so many don't want to accept the veracity of the Torah, because they would have to admit that God gave us this land. It's clear as day.
Well, and even further than that, you have to say that people who don't accept God in the first place are certainly not going to accept this.
Right.
So the whole, the majority of the world doesn't really believe in God, I don't think. So you could see that we're very far from God. So
Well, they believe in their gods. It's not that they
yeah,
don't believe in
but
God. They don't
well,
believe in the God of Israel.
yes, but but the God, I'm going even more like what I'm saying is there's only one God in the whole universe. So people can say they believe in God, but then by their actions, it's obvious they don't. So I don't care even what they call it, because even the opposite is true. There are those who call their God something else, and you see that some of them really belong to God. I really believe the woman who I worked with, who, we visit the fruit store, and anyway, but not only her, but the woman who used to pray on the mat in the room that I sat in, the way she talked, it really sounded like she had a relationship with God. and it wasn't, it wasn't the God as we know in the Torah. I mean, I believe it was the God, but she called it something else. Like, I believe that God has his people all over the place. Anyway,
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
all right. But yes, it's clear here that God has given the land to us.
Right. I mean, I believe what you're saying. I've never spoken to her. I don't know what she believes about the land or whether she believes that it doesn't belong to Israel.
Yeah, I guess my point is that I
Yeah,
don't know if what it like if God knows what when it said when we say belonging to him, that we're really walking with him, like is it, what does that really mean? So if she doesn't believe that about the land, I don't know. You know what? These things are mysterious. I can't
well,
answer.
exactly. We don't know. There's only God knows. We can't argue about something we just don't know about.
I was just responding to, and
Yeah,
it's true what you say. Of course, what the Torah says, God has given us the land.
right.
But if I go up to somebody and say, see it, that's what it says. They say, okay,
Yeah,
that's good. This is
yeah,
what it says somewhere else. But you're right. That is what it says
right.
in the Torah. The land, moreover, is to be apportioned by lot, and the allotment shall be made according to the listings of their ancestral tribes. Each portion shall be assigned by lot, whether for larger or smaller groups. This is the enrollment of the Levites by their clans. Of Gershon, the clan of the Gershonites. Of Kohath, the clan of the Kohathites. Of Merari, the clan of the Merarites. These are the clans of Levi, the clan of the Libnites, the clan of the Hebronites, the clan of the Mahlites, the clan of the Mushites, the clan of the Kohathites. Kohath begot Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt. She bore to Amram, Aaron, and Moses, and their sister Miriam. To Aaron were born Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. Nadab and Abihu died when they offered alien fire before God. Their enrollment of 23,000 comprised all males from a month up. They were not part of the regular enrollment of the Israelites, since no share was assigned to them among the Israelites. These are the males enrolled by Moses and Eleazar, the priest, registered the Israelites on the steppes of Moab, at the Jordan near Jericho. Among these, there was not one of those enrolled by Moses and Aaron the priest when they recorded the Israelites in the wilderness of Sinai. For God had said to them, they shall die in the wilderness. Not one of them survived, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun.
And just to repeat, that whole generation died in the wilderness, except for Caleb, who was the leader of the tribe of Judah, but he was the son of Yephunneh, who was a Kenizzite. He was not a native-born Israelite, the way Joshua was, who was, I think, a Benjamite. Joshua, son of Nun. Here, the daughters of Zelophehad, of Manasseh, son of Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came forward. The names of the daughters were Mala, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest, the chieftains, and the whole assembly at the entrance of the Ochel Moed, the tent of meeting, and they said, our father died in the wilderness. He was not one of the faction, Korach's faction, those who went against Moses, who banded together against God, but died for his own sin. He left no sons. let our father's name,
Let not our father's son.
go ahead.
No, it's just, you said, let our
Yeah,
fathers,
let not our father's name be lost to his clan just because he had no son. Give us a holding among our father's kinsmen. Moses brought their case before God, and God said to Moses, the plea of Zelophehad's daughter is just. You should give them a hereditary holding among their father's kinsmen, transfer their father's share to them. So here, to me, we see, what a difference between God's judgment about women and all the Orthodox religions in the world today, where women have no say in anything, nor do they have any rights. If you go to a religion today where women are looked at worse than cattle, they wouldn't have even dared to ask what his daughters asked for. So we see that the Torah really is setting a new standard for women.
Yeah, people don't realize that.
Exactly. Further, speak to the Israelite people as follows. If a householder or someone who is the leader of their home dies without leaving a son, transfer his property to his daughter. If he has no daughter, assign the property to his brothers. If he has no brothers, assign the property to his father's brothers. If the father has no brothers, assign his property to his nearest relative in his own clan, who shall inherit it. This shall be the chukah. I think it would have said that. This shall be here, hukat mishpat, the law of judgment. This is how you shall judge for the Israelites in accordance with the Lord's command to Moses. So he was setting down a lot of regulations of how to treat people with justice and fairness. God then said to Moses, ascend these heights of Avarim and view the land that I've given to the Israelite people. When you have seen it, you too shall be gathered to your kin, just as your brother Aaron was. For in the wilderness of Sin, when the community, was contentious, sorry,
No, it's okay.
you disobeyed my command to uphold my sanctity, like to keep his name set apart, holy in their sight because of the water. Those are the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the wilderness of Sin. Moses said, let me see, I just don't want to miss my notes here. Moses spoke to the Lord saying, let the Lord, source of the breath of all flesh, appoint someone over the community who shall go out before them and come in before them, who shall take them out and bring them in, so that the Lord's community may not be without sheep that have no shepherd. And the Lord answered Moses, single out Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom the Ruach, it says here, Ben Nun, Asher Ruach Bo, who's been inspired by God's Ruach, and lay your hand. The word is samachta. It's like when we lay hands on someone in our community, we do smicha. We are ordaining them so that the whole community, it says, may obey him. It's like the swearing in of a president. It's a whole procedure so that people will recognize that they have been granted this very special position. Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and before the whole community and commission him in their sight. Invest him with some of your authority. The word is natata. Give him some of your chodecha, like your the rule that's been given to you. Pass it on to him, so that the whole Israelite community may obey. This is really important, because not anybody could come out and just take it like Kahat wanted. Korach, wanted. Here, the whole community is going to be witness that God chose this person to fulfill his role. But he shall present himself to Eleazar the priest, who shall on his behalf seek the decision of the Urim before the Lord. And I was looking at that, and I went to look up. Eleazar was told to seek the decision of the Urim before the Lord. He was given the ability to do that. So I thought, well, what exactly is this Urim and Tumim? So I went and did a search on the Virtual Jewish Library site, and it says the Urim and Tumim was a priestly device for obtaining oracles. They would use them. I don't know what they looked like. I don't know if they were dice or what they were. But they were on the high priest's ephod. There was a breastplate, and there was a pouch that was inlaid with 12 precious stones engraved with the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. And in that pouch that held the Urim and Tumim. Using the Urim, the priest would inquire of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh on behalf of the ruler, whoever was in charge. But it was only for the king, the high court, or someone serving the need of the community. They were one of the 3 legitimate means of obtaining oracles or prophecy in early Israel. This was Urim, dreams, and prophets. Those were the only 3 ways legitimately that they could receive a prophetic word, something that they would have to be listened to. And we read that in 1 Samuel 28. Now, because of the oracular character of the Urim, the breastpiece that the priest wore, the breastplate was called the breastplate of decision or judgment. So the concept for me, it says here, the concept evokes the tablets of destiny in Babylonian mythology, the symbol of supreme authority that lay on the breast of the chief god. So look how what was being placed on the high priest, the Urim and the Tumim, was a concept that was already understood in Babylonian mythology. So for me, you know how God was taking us away from the gods, the practices of the gods, and bringing them to him. Remember, we talked about that before?
Yeah.
Because the right to work this oracle was reserved just for the Levitical priests. So the Levitical priests would then lead the people to God. And, they remind me a little bit of the rune stones or the tarot cards or the fortune tellers that we used to go looking for answers to, to direct us on our path, to come to some kind of understanding. And here God is slowly weaning the people away from all those paganism, all those symbols in paganism. And when we don't depend on the one God and instead depend on these pagan symbols, our lives can go on a downward spiral like mine did. And God was allowing through the Umim and Turim for us to have direct contact with him, especially after Moses was gone. He spoke to Moses face to face. He didn't do that with the priests. So they would be using these Umim and Tumim. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting because when I first heard any of these things, it sort of got me scared that years ago, I remember thinking, it's been done before, so why is this the only way? But here, I'm beginning, I can understand that it's done in a specific time for a specific purpose, but only like this, for example, the Umim and the
Tumim, yeah.
were not to be repeated. So they just needed that at that time. But
Exactly.
now, we don't make decisions by using any external objects like that. It was just, it was a teaching. It was to help them get out of their old practices
Right.
by putting them in a new context.
Exactly. It's a little bit like a baby is slowly weaned away from nursing at the breast of the mother. It's a slow, you don't pull it away immediately. The same with, you take a sus, you don't grab it and throw it out. You slowly wean. There were still children
Right.
of Israel. They were slowly being weaned away from all the years, the hundreds of years of the paganism of Egypt. And now they would be shown a new way. By such instruction, they'll go out. By such instruction, they'll come in. And he and all the Israelites, the army, and the whole community. So Eleazar the priest had a huge responsibility by listening to what God was saying through the Urim. Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua, had him stand before Eleazar the priest and before the whole community. He laid hands on him, smicha, and commissioned him. By his hand, he was given a commission, as the Lord had spoken through Moses. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, command the Israelite people and say to them, be punctilious in presenting to me at stated times the offerings of food due me as offerings by fire of pleasing odor to the Lord. I remember our rabbi used to use this word punctiliar because it's a word that describes showing great detail, great attention to detail. And I remember Rabbi would use the word punctiliar when comparing the Greek language or way of thinking to the Hebrew, which was a language of pictures, is a language of pictures. It made it so much more difficult to translate concepts from Hebrew to Greek. For example, anointed and Mashiach had no place in any other culture. Nobody they weren't anointed with oil. They couldn't understand these concepts, which is why it was so difficult. And this whole idea, at stated times, we're going to see it repeated because it's so important that we don't just meet at any time we want or in any place we want, like pagans do. Pagans would go and they would have altars all over the place and go anytime they wanted. But God was commanding the Israelites not to do that. Say to them, these are the offerings by fire that you are to present, the olah, to present to Yud He Vav He, as a regular burnt offering every day. Look at this. Every day, 2-year-old lambs without blemish. Offer one lamb in the morning and the other lamb in the evening. And as a meal offering, 1/10 of an ephah of choice flour with 1/4 of a hin of beaten oil. So it's almost like a mixture of bread. The regular burnt offering instituted at Mount Sinai, an offering of fire pleasing to the Lord. And now we have also an offering of, it says here, fermented drink, which is wine. So they were also to offer that. The other lamb you shall offer in the evening at twilight, preparing the same meal offering and libation as in the morning, an offering by fire of pleasing aroma to the Lord. And then he's going to go through different offerings. Let me just see what it says here. Oh, well, let me go back to something because I missed. It's easier for me to see my notes when you're reading, Miriam. That's why I like you to read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where were we here? Verse 2. Let me go back. Verse 2. Verse 2 ends with, as I said, in b'moedo here. Moed are the appointed times. He says, command the Israelites that we were to approach God with our sacred offerings in order to be covered, keper, by him, when he told us to not bring them whenever we wanted to. And I remember when I used to attend Hebrew Christian gatherings, they often changed the date of a moed to be celebrated at a time that was convenient for the people instead of its appointed time. In trying to replace the Torah with its particular doctrines, religions like Christianity have lost the essence of God's message to his people. This is called replacement theology. That's why it's so important getting rid of the pagan way of looking at their holidays and their sacrifices and their offerings, and going to where God said, I'll tell you when and I will tell you where. That would be pleasing to him. So look how busy the priests were kept every single day of the week. They had to bring those offerings morning and night. And here on Shabbat, it would be double, 2 lambs without blemish, together with 2 measures of choice flour with oil mixed in as meal offering and proper libation, which is the wine. A burnt offering for every Shabbat, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its libation. Now, here it says, the beginning of each month, on your new moons, you shall present an olah to the Lord. 2 bulls of the herd, 1 ram, 7 yearling lamb without blemish. As a meal offering for each bull, 3/10 of a measure of choice flour with oil mixed in. As meal offering for each ram, 2/10 of a measure of choice flour with oil mixed in. So, we kind of pass over Rosh Chodesh. We mention it on Shabbat, but in the Orthodox community, they make a bigger deal of Rosh Chodesh than we do. It's really been lost in the greater Jewish community. But it was a very special,
Why don't we?
I don't know. We mention it, we talk about it, but
Did Rabbi Percy say anything about it?
he didn't say much about it. But I know he did mention when it was Rosh Chodesh. I know that in our service, I always read that extra verse, but maybe we need to look into what that means for us today.
Mhm. Well, what did it really mean then? What was it?
It to me, on your new moons, you shall present every month. God has given us new moons, new months, and that's how we measure time. We don't measure time by the Roman, by the pagan calendar, which was solar. We measure time by the moon, the new moons. So God was setting us again away from pagan practices to how we measure our year, our months. Okay, I'm just going to continue down here. It says, now we're going to start looking at what the months mean and how he gave us these moedim, these sacred assemblies. In the first month, it says here, B'chodesh Harishon, the first month, on the 14th day of the month, shall be an offering of Pesach, the Pesach offering. And on the 15th day of the month, a festival, unleavened bread for 7 days. It's interesting because we say that Pesach is the whole time. It's all 8 days, but it isn't. The first day is Pesach, and the rest of it is the Hag Matzot, Yamim Matzot. That's what we're going to eat for the 7 days. So the first day is a sacred occasion, which we are to do absolutely no work on. And the rest we can work on except on the last day of the Chag Matzot. We were to present an offering by fire, an olah, 2 bulls of the herd, 1 ram, 7 yearling lambs, and they had to make sure that they had no blemish. We had to bring the absolute best. All throughout the Torah, we see how God is making us into a people of giving. constantly giving offerings to him on every occasion, and how important that is. If we have a hand that's closed and tight, stingy, we will never be blessed. God wants us to give, to bring. Here, prepare a tenth of measure. Very often we'll see this tithe. Here is 3/10. Here is 2/10 for a ram, 3/10 for the measure of a bull. There shall be one goat for a sin offering to make a covering, lekaper, on your behalf for your sins. You shall present these in addition to the morning portion of the regular burnt offering. Here again, this is in addition to the burnt offerings. This one you shall offer exactly the same as the olah, the burnt offering, daily for 7 days as food. This was a tremendous celebration. Everybody would come with their families, and these offerings were used as food. Another offering by fire as a pleasing aroma to God. They shall be offered with their wine in addition to the regular burnt offering. And on the 7th day of Chag Matzot, it would be a sacred Mikra Kodesh, a sacred assembly. You shall do no work. Kol melechet, it says, comes from the word melach, which is in those days salary, salt, which was a measure of salary. We are not to gain any salary on those days. And now he's going to go into Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks, when you bring offerings of new grain, offer a sacred occasion. Again, no work. And it doesn't mean we can leave our businesses to the Gentiles. Everyone had to, if it was a Shabbat, it was for those, the ger who were living with us. You shall present an olah of reach nechoyach, a pleasing aroma to God, because we're being obedient to him. We are saying, yes, God, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to come and make these offerings to show you that I want to follow you and serve you. I don't want to follow the other gods anymore. And then we see these offerings repeated. And in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall observe another sacred assembly. Do no work. This is called the day of Yom HaTeruah, with the blowing of the shofar. Again, we're presenting these offerings, meal offerings, these different offerings. Okay, on the 10th day of the 7th month, which is Tishrei, offer a sacred occasion when you shall practice self-denial. What it's saying is, the word is anitem. Ani means humbling ourselves, admitting to the Lord that we are impoverished, that we have really nothing in us that we can present before him. He is a supplier of everything. We have to humble ourselves. It doesn't say anywhere to fast. Instead, we are to bring all these offerings. A goat is a sin offering, and the whole community would celebrate, would eat on Yom Kippur. Here, on the 15th day of the 7th month, we're going into Sukkot. You shall observe a sacred occasion. No work at your occupation. 7 days. Sukkot is 7 days. And then we have an extra day called Shemini Atzeret, an added extra day. There was no 8 days. No 9th day. We had 7 days plus 1. There was no 7th, 8th, 9th day, the way our community is done. We are constantly adding. And the only reason that I keep bringing these things up is because our behavior reflects who we are making into gods. If we make man into gods or animals into gods or anything else, we are saying that our God isn't enough. Okay, let me continue. Here it's going to go each day. There are going to be special offerings. The second day, 12 bulls, 2 rams, 14 yearling rams without blemish. Every single day there's going to be all those offerings. Third day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 yearling lambs without blemish. Meal offerings. Can you imagine this? The scene every single day. All these 11 bulls. Boy, these priesthood were busy. The fourth day, 10 bulls, 2 rams. Here, fifth day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 yearling rams, and all the other offerings. Sixth day, 8 bulls. Seventh day, 7 bulls. Eighth day, you shall hold. This is the last Shemini Atzeret. Here, Bayom HaShemini Atzeret, an extra day, the 8th day, you shall hold a solemn gathering. You shall not work. You shall present. How many people even know in our community, even know about Shemini Atzeret, which is a sacred, solemn assembly before God? We are admitting, God, you are the only one. Present an offering, a burnt offering by fire, pleasing aroma to God. And then we continue here. All these you shall offer at the stated times. In addition to your free will, your votive, your willing offers, whether they're burnt offerings, meal offerings, wine offerings, drink offerings, offerings of shalamim, we were to bring these to our God willingly. So Moses spoke to the Israelites just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Now, the Haftorah, we don't really have time, but the Haftorah, which I highly recommend that you read, let me just read a little bit about it because, and I'm going to tell you why. Here it says, for behold, this is just.
Where is it? What chapter?
Oh, let me share. Okay. I'll read the whole thing. The word of Jeremiah, son of Hilkiah of the Kohanim of Anatot in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Lord came, word of God came in the days of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It happened in the days of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, to the captivity of Jerusalem in the 5th month, the word of God came to me, saying, now remember, Jeremiah is speaking to our people the word of God. Before I formed you in the womb, this is you, me, all of us here. I knew you. And before you came out of the womb, I separated you. Kadosh, I set you apart from the other nations. Here he's speaking, in this particular case, he's speaking to Jeremiah. I have appointed you to be a prophet to the nations. Then I said, Jeremiah, oh, sovereign God, I cannot speak, for I'm just a lad, a young man. God said to me, do not say I am a lad, for to whomever I send you, you shall go. And whatever I command you, you shall speak. Don't be afraid of them, for I am with you to deliver you. He was afraid. Jeremiah was afraid. And just like Gideon was afraid to go to war. God says, do not be afraid of those people. I am with you to deliver you. Then God put forth his hand and touched my mouth, just like he did with Isaiah. God said to me, behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have set you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms to root out and to pull down, to destroy, to overthrow, to build and to plant. This is important because everybody says, oh, I hear so many people say, oh, God is a God of love. Just give love. This is all we need. What the world needs now is love. Look what he says. I have set you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms. Root out and pull down, destroy, overthrow, build, plant. Moreover, the word of God came to me saying, Jeremiah, what do you see? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then God said to me, you have seen well, for I watch over my word to perform it. The word of God came to me a second time, saying, what do you see? And I said, I see a boiling pot, and it's facing north. God said to me, out of the north, evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. For behold, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north, says God, and they shall come, and every one of them shall set his throne at the entrance of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all its surrounding walls, and against all the cities of Judah. Isn't this what's happening now? How all these nations want to come against Israel? And I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, because they have forsaken me and have offered to other gods and have worshipped the work of their own hands. Who is he talking about here? Against all its surrounding walls and against all the cities of Judah. He's talking to us. I will utter my judgments against them because we have been wicked, because we have offered to other gods, just like we did with the Midianites, just like we're doing today, just like I did. Therefore, gird up your loins and arise and speak all that I command you to them, and do not be discouraged by them, lest I dishearten you before them. For behold, I have made you this day a fortified city, an iron pillar, brazen walls against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, its princes, and its priesthood, and against the people of the land. They shall fight against you, but they shall not prevail. For I am with you to deliver you, says God. And the word of God came to me, saying, go, cry out in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus says God, I remember you, the devotion of your youth, your love like a bride, when you went after me in the desert, in a land that was not sown. Israel is separated for God. Yud He Vav He. Kadosh Yisrael le'Adonai. The first fruit of his produce. We are his first fruits. All who devour her shall be held guilty. Evil shall come upon them, says God. So let me just say one thing more. So I mentioned last Shabbat that some of the people in our Orthodox community go to the grave of their departed rabbi and pray to him, asking for answers to their prayers, like healing. And I said, I didn't mention that it was the Chabad Rebbe, but people go, they believe that he has been resurrected from the dead, that he has been reincarnated into another body. This is paganism. I spent my life delving into religions, ideologies, cult thinking. I lived by their philosophy. And with each one, I was led further and further down a rabbit hole of lies until my whole family was nearly destroyed. If I had just known the principles of the Torah were a guidebook, it would have saved me and my family so much pain. And our prophets warned Israel what would happen if we didn't obey, if we didn't honor and revere our God. Look at where our people are today. It's like we're facing another Holocaust again. Are we? We're in a position where people either hate us or they love us. I understand that my actions, whether good or bad, are felt far beyond anything I can understand. That's why Abraham bargained with God. If at least 10 righteous men would be found, would you save Sodom and Gomorrah? He understood. So who are we? We need to work at being righteous. That's how real this is today. Look around. How many righteous people do you know? Ask yourself, am I righteous? Do I know the commandments? Do I follow them? Do I keep the Shabbat? Do I honor my parents? What do I never gossip? Or am I never jealous? Covets what somebody else has? Do I constantly examine myself? Or am I playing at religion? You know, I heard Ben Shapiro today. To me, he's brilliant. And he was speaking about, oh, what was that pastor who just died? A famous pastor. And he spoke with him. And this pastor was praying, telling him, you need to come, you need to believe in Jesus. And he said, I don't need to believe in Jesus. I have my religion. But the Gentiles, and he said the Gentiles only need the 7 Noahide laws. Where is he getting this from? Where is this in the Torah? Bamidbar 15:15 speaks about how every law, every chukah, every mishpat, everything God gave us was for us, the Israelite, the native-born Jew, and the stranger living among us. If we don't understand that the things that we do affect all greater than we can imagine, and that's how we show our love, by going out of our way when we don't want to do something for someone and we do it anyway. Yes, Brian.
I always tell the people here about when's he gonna come back. I say, don't wait for him on Sunday. He'll be back on Saturday.
If he comes back, we don't know, Brian.
Yeah.
We don't know that, because remember, we
Being a
believe.
Jew, he will have to come back on Saturday.
But listen, we believe in Rabbi Yeshua. We don't believe in him. We follow his teachings as well as we can know them, because the New Testament has been so. Yes, it's John MacArthur. Thank you, Richard. You're right. Pastor John MacArthur passed away, and he's the one who spoke to Ben. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. What were you saying, Brian? Oh yeah, the second coming. The second coming. I don't know what you think about it, but for me, if Rabbi Yeshua was a rabbi who died, and I don't believe that he resurrected like the New Testament says, and he may come back. We don't know. He can. We're all going to come back. We go, when we die, we leave these bodies and we go to be wherever our rabbi is, our forefathers, those who are with God. And we're waiting for the resurrection of the dead in the end times. I don't know when that is, but I don't have to worry about that. My only concern is my behavior. How am I living today? Am I loving God with all my heart, my soul, my resources? Do I give as much as I possibly can for the work, for God's work? And do I love myself so that I can love my neighbor? That's how Yeshua summed up the 10 Commandments. That's how what we need to ask ourselves. If I think that it's all gushy, lovey, like some people think, there's nothing wrong with that. But it isn't that. It goes so far beyond. Am I loyal to somebody? Am I loyal to my friend, no matter what? Am I able to tell her something that I see is harming her when it's such a difficult thing to do? So there's so many things that we have to look at when we read this book. I love the Torah. You know, I was listening to Roseanne Barr. She said she doesn't care what people think about her anymore. She loves the Torah.
Really?
Yeah, she reads the Torah.
Well, where did you hear that?
We'll look it up. If I find it, I'll send it to you. There's a group.
Wow, I'd really like that.
Yeah, there's a group of Hollywood actors now who are joining her team.
Jews or Gentiles and Jews?
Both. One of them is Goldie Hawn's husband. What's his name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah, he's joined her. He's getting rid of
Really? I like
the
that.
Hollywood woke.
That's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
But
But
he's gonna have to get married because he's
You're right. But they are married. They've lived together all this time. They're married. Believe me. So this is a beautiful.
He's not Jewish, she is, right?
Yeah, she is. Exactly. Anything you want to
Hi,
say?
Jerry, how you doing?
Thank God, thank God. How are you doing, Miriam, and everybody else?
Glad.
You look like you're going sailing in an ocean filled
Well,
with.
like I couldn't believe what I did today, but it's
What did you do? Oh yeah. But Jerry, you're on an ocean that looks
Believe
like
it,
you're
believe
in
it.
a storm, just like life.
Well, I gave you,
Honestly.
I gave you the 4 lines last week, if you remember. The sea fever.
Bye, Richard.
Bye, Richard.
Thank you.
I didn't change it yet. Yeah.
I like that. You know, it reminds me of the world we're living in. The world is like
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
yeah. Did you see the cloud the other day? It looked like we were on Sunday, like we were going to have a tornado. It was black, and those were tornado-like clouds. And that look at all the water that fell. There, people were stranded again, and their cars were stranded. We're seeing. See, I don't separate all these things happening in the world from our behavior. We are all interconnected.
Yeah, that's true.
All affect each other on a global scale. It's bigger than we can imagine. That's why it's so important, our behavior. Baruch, be kind to the people there who are taking care of you. Don't order people around. Show kindness and mercy and love. We have to show them who we are by the light that shines out of our behavior, out of our actions. We reflect God's light. We are not the light. He is the light, but we reflect it by how we behave. And God said, and Yeshua said, not God, Yeshua said, don't hide your light under a barrel. Let it be on a mountaintop so that everyone can see it and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Okay, so be a good boy chick. And we all have to be a good boy chick and a good girl chick. So if that's all, is there anything else anybody has to say?
Yes, we should emphasize with a happy tune, you know.
Yes.
So,
Actually, there's a beautiful tune.
so go ahead, Peggy. You're the leader.
Let me find it. It's
Turn the sound of music.
this
Whistle
is,
happy tune.
well, I can't play the guitar because you can't hear it, but I'll play it just so that this is the chorus of a new song that is hitting Israel. It's so popular. It says, "The blessed God, the Hashem Yitbarach, Tamid Ochavoti, always loves me, and I'll have only good. And I'll have even more good and even more good."
I like those words if you can send them along, and also that thing that you mentioned in Los Angeles. If you send me along that idea what you were talking about, Kurt Russell, etc.
Yes.
And you said that
Send me a copy too.
What?
Send me a copy too.
Okay.
Who's what?
I will.
and
They
I
said-
like the wording on here, Peggy, that you just mentioned.
Yeah, let me share it with you so you'll be able to see it as I sing. I think we sang. Did we sing it? No, we didn't do it. Okay, it's not big enough. Let me zoom in. Can you see that?
It's pretty small, but I see it.
It's still small. Let me go zoom it in even more. Okay, that's gonna be too big. Hang on.
I mean, you could see it, but it's just a little bit big.
Okay, let me see. How is this?
Perfect. For
Okay,
me anyway.
Okay, that's a good size.
that's a good size. Okay. והשם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב, טוב. והשם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. יהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, עוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. והשם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. והשם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. יהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד 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 יותר טוב, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. יהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, עוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב. להיות יותר טוב, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. And if you look it up, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב, the people are dancing no matter what is going on. There's something special about our people. We dance, we sing, we never give up.
If you have some links to that, Peggy, that would be good to
I will send that to you too.
You might get some from,
you might even
get
you
a
might
mic
even,
on your guitar. So
What?
you might even include that
I can
link
hear
in your
the
message.
guitar very slow.
Yeah, Peggy, you might even
Just a
include
bare
that link
mic
in
on
your
the
message.
guitar.
So I've got to say Tamid, that song, and the other thing was, what was the other one I had to send you? The one about Ben
The one
Shapiro?
in Los Angeles with Kurt
Yeah, send
Russell.
that to me too, Goldie Hawn.
And a suggestion that you add that song to your talk today at the end. Put a link in there for everyone after they listen. They could
I
go
will
to
do
that thing
that.
as well.
It has the sound of, I liked it, the early Hebrew songs when they,
Yeah,
about the forming of the land and return to the land and all.
exactly. It seems that the more we suffer, the more we turn to God. Isn't that sad that we have to do that? But that's what brought me to God. You know, sometimes we feel so bad when we see somebody suffer. But if it brings them to God and the world becomes a better place because of it, then what can we say? Not that we wish for suffering, we wish for good. But let me tell you what happens when, remember, God said, when you go into the land and you grow fat, do not forget me. So, okay, I'll send you that. And did you want to also see the one with Ben Shapiro when he was speaking to?
Well, might as well send it.
Give me a
Might-
bar for the Shapiro in Laval.
Okay, so I'm missing one.
Yeah, might as well send everything. But if we don't want it, we won't
Yeah,
look at it much, But we'll look
yeah.
at it.
Sorry, remind me again. So to me, this song, the one with Kurt Russell, the one with Ben Shapiro, was there another one that I had said?
Well, Kurt Russell, Ben Shapiro, and this year's song here was that this Israeli song you just.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send you those three things. I think
You'll
that's,
send me the Kurt Russell thing?
yes, I'm gonna look for it and I'll send it to you. Perfect. And if anybody wants and wants to see those things, let me know and I'll send them off to you.
Send them off to me.
So I will. I'll send it off to you. Don't worry, Brian. Could never forget you. All right. So you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful rest of the week, and I look forward to Shabbat, to listening to
Thank
Shabbat.
you.
message on Pinchas. All
Thank
right.
you.
God bless you. You're welcome. It was such a joy. I loved doing this. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.